welcome to the Everyone Active podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jo Hancock.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Laurie. Hello, how are you?
I'm really good.
I see someone next to you that's really, to say we're excited today in the studio is an understatement.
I don't know how I'm going to calm down throughout this entire chat.
We need to calm ourselves.
We definitely need a drum roll.
We need a drum roll, David, now. Okay.
And team, please can we introduce to you Mr. Colin Jackson, CBE.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I don't think we can leave it at CBE.
Why
It's
not?
because we've got world record setter, top of your game, medal winner. Thank you so much for being here.
We forgot to mention about the good looks and charm, which was a prerequisite.
Yeah, because that was written on the script.
Yeah,
and
on
you
the script.
deliberately left that out. I noticed that.
We'll just say it the whole time through.
Okay, all right, really good.
But no, thank you so much for being here. So today we're going to chat to you, obviously, about your sporting career, EA Sporting Champions, and also how you are still such an inspiration to so many of Team BG athletes in your coaching and your mentoring.
My pleasure.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for fitting us into your very busy schedule. We know you're mega busy.
I know,
aren't you?
it is a little bit manic. I have been a little bit manic the
Where
last
have
couple
you
of weeks.
been? Tell us.
Well, I've just come back from India now. Okay, so if I look a little bit jaded, forgive me. And if I start to ramble, forgive me.
But the good looks are still there.
Yeah. Oh, I love you.
And he smells good as well.
I love
Can
you
confirm,
as
viewers, he smells good. That'll be a question.
Yeah, was he wearing, right? Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of travelling, that coaching still, obviously, so that takes up a lot of your time as well. And then adding to that, it's all my other stuff, the other projects that I have to work with and I have to lend my name to, so it's great.
Turning you on the TV and I'm like, there he is.
I know, it's going to get even worse next year, isn't it? Because it's Olympics.
The
Well,
big
technically, I should
year.
say this year, right? Because when you see it,
This
it will
year.
be this year.
Yes.
So yeah, Olympics is a big deal.
Exciting.
Tell us a little bit about India. What were you doing out there?
Oh, well, India was a great trip. First time I've been there in this type of working capacity. I had a couple of trips before. I was in a little town, little town called Calcutta, which is Calcutta. I know a couple of million people live there, most probably. It was very busy there. But I was part of a team that we were starting a brand new race there for them. So it was a 25K run, which is a really odd distance. But it's the only 25K that is kind of got the World Athletics stamp of approval. And so we were there, we were starting working on it and just trying to motivate and generate as many people as we can to be involved and understanding the importance of running in a healthy lifestyle picture. And we had 18,000 people.
Did you?
Yeah.
For the inaugural race? Were you expecting
Well, it wasn't
that
quite
many?
the inaugural race,
Okay.
right? I'm just saying, we've had a couple of little dabbles in it before coming through, and this was the real first big one, and yeah.
Wow.
It's not bad, right?
That's
Were they
absolutely
expecting that
phenomenal.
many, or...?
It was, they literally stopped selling because there was just too many people that wanted
Really?
to participate. Yeah. So it
Wow.
was really good for us on that side. So it was very exciting, very busy. It was a manic 6 days. That's all I can say.
A whirlwind, was
Yes,
it?
And it's
literally.
now going to be an annual event?
Yes, it should be. Can do there.
There you go, team. If you want to try a new race,
Get up
different
there.
part of the world,
Absolutely.
go for it.
Yeah.
That's me. So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
When did you first realise that you were quite good? Not bad at hurdling.
At hurdling, most probably in school, because I had a really great gym teacher. So when I say school, I'm going 11, 12, something like this, and had a really good gym teacher who always kind of wanted to motivate and encourage us doing lots of different sports.
Great.
And I was a good runner and jumper anyway.
Right.
And so she chucked me in the hurdle and said, have a go with this. And it was great. When I think of how basic now, the way that she explained hurdles and everything to me was absolutely perfect. Because it's important to engage young people.
Yeah.
So you've got to make it simple but pleasurable.
Yeah.
And so she kind of made it look a little bit like an art form and a little bit of a dance and think about you sprinting and dancing at the same time. And it was just the way that she pulled it together encouraged me. So I loved having a go at it, but I also loved everything else. So I wasn't going to focus on hurdles for some time.
Is the everything else? So you were 10, 11, 12,
Okay.
coming into those teenage years.
Okay, let's be honest. Our school, I just want to put my head down here. We're kind of good at everything. So, yeah, it was like one of those, yeah, it was kind of good.
So on those school meets, everyone was like,
Yeah,
then
if
again,
they,
was
if they
it?
went up to our school, they were like, "Oh, we're out." It was literally like that, right? So we won the county basketball competition, rugby competition, football competition, athletics competition. The girls won the netball and baseball. So we were kind of county leaders.
Really
for
annoying
everything.
then.
Also something to say, though, about that gym teacher.
Well, I mean,
What an inspiration.
Well, the whole of our gym group then, Mrs. Morgan, she was a
Shout out to
diver.
Mrs. Morgan.
So she was at the Commonwealth Games to dive in.
Oh my
our
goodness.
rugby teacher, Bob Dyer, was in Wales. He was the captain of the Wales B team, rugby team. One of our football kind of coaches, Mr. Williams, he then went over to the US and coached for the teams over there. So we had...
It was a melting pot then, was it, for
So we were really
Wow.
lucky. We were really lucky to have those type of teachers
Yeah.
who kind of were involved with us at a young age.
Definitely.
Wow.
Were you on the football team, the basketball team, athletics?
Were you?
Yeah, I was on all of them. I mean, and I just love playing. I mean, I always laugh now because my auntie always used to say to me, all you do is play, right? You don't do anything but play. And you're going to make a living out of playing. And, and every time I see it, I would go... So, yeah.
There is a shed load of hard work behind the playing, though, that we will come on to. But when you're 11, 12, 13, I bet you were like, yes. Next team, what am I doing?
Well, yeah, I think that was the way it was because every single... I'm not sure if they could do it nowadays, but every lunch break we were training. We weren't, having that much lunch, to be honest, in school.
Right.
So it was all sorts of school sports we were doing. So if it was Monday, it could be basketball for lunch. And if it was Tuesday, it was rugby in, dinner, lunchtime training, et cetera, et cetera. And then the games would all hook up on there. So adding to that, my friends played as well. So that encouraged you.
Right.
So I think it's always important, again, is when you've got peers
Yeah.
that are doing
Yeah,
the same kind
definitely.
of
It's
thing.
like that, find your tribe.
Yeah, find your tribe,
Get
yeah.
the energy.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So that's how it literally just progressed.
Wow.
And then the hurdles.
And then the hurdles, they came about really as a mix of everything. So I used to do everything, sprint, long jump. And when I went to the club, Cardiff Athletics Club, initially, they just took me as a sprinter. And I loved hurdling. I was training to hurdle as well. I throw the javelin, I'd high jump for them as well. So I did everything, right?
So good.
And then when the guy who was the main person for hurdles, he got sick. So when he got sick, they thought, well, just throw him in then.
Go on, see what you can do.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
Think you can
to do.
jump?
Literally,
Try it.
Really?
Literally, that was it. And then I just did the hurdles. Of course, I won quite comfortably. And they
Yeah,
were
you
like,
did.
do you know what? Let's stick with him there then. And then, but even that time, I was between 15, 16 when that happened. And then even then, I was still not specialised in hurdles till I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then it was Commonwealth Games.
Commonwealth Games, 86.
Where did the
goodness.
journey from county representation to national, how did that happen?
Good question. Most probably overnight with a selection notice.
You're in.
You're in, young man. No, I mean, I was 15, 16, 15 was probably when I got my first Welsh call up. So, yeah, I think it's just progression, isn't it, when you're that age?
Yeah.
You know, if you progress and you're quite good quite quickly, they grab you straight away.
Right.
So I think that's what literally happened for me. But like when it goes from, I think the trickiest thing is from national to international.
Yeah.
I think when you're representing at the highest level, like Commonwealth Games, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
in a
'cause you got
sense.
silver
So
there, didn't
yeah,
you?
so in '86, what happened? I was injured going into the World Junior Championships. I was a favourite to win the gold medal.
So you were about, what,
The world-
18, 19?
19,
Yeah.
19. Favourite to win the World Junior title in hurdles, but I got injured just before that championships.
Oh.
And I was selected for Britain for the long jump and the relay as well. So I wasn't
Really?
just, so I was going to World Juniors to long jump and high hurdle.
Wow.
And in the relay team. So, but they had to pull me out of each event slowly. So they pulled me out of the long jump first because I was right at the beginning of the schedule. Then they had to name the relay squad. I wasn't good in it. I wasn't even running at that stage, so they had to pull me out of that. And the only thing was left for me to do was the hurdles, which was right at the back end of the championship. So the physios worked tirelessly
Yeah.
to get me ready. And then I won them, obviously, and then ran the second fastest time ever as a junior.
Wow.
And then I went to the Commonwealth Games then, straight after that, after winning the World Juniors, getting to the Commonwealth Games. And I remember the guy who won the Commonwealth Games who ended up being my training partner, Mark McCoy, ended up being the Olympic champion at high hurdles. he came up to me and he's like, "Oh, I heard all about you, but he'd never met me because I was just a junior."
Yeah.
So he was a big, never seen. And then he saw me race. He went, "Oh, damn, you're going to be good, right?" And I was like, yeah, maybe. But I'm having a lot of fun.
Amazing. So did you always relate back to your teacher telling you about your technique when you're in those blocks on the start line,
Yeah.
and you've got your 110 in front of you, and
Yeah.
you've got that channel vision? Do you hear your teacher? Do you hear your squad mates? What then made you go, do you know what? I am absolutely going to be number one in this.
I hear nothing.
Really?
Yeah, apart from, I mean, I'd always be prepared well. I always had, supreme confidence in what I was capable of doing. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And what gave me confidence was good preparation. So as long
Yes.
as I prepared well, I knew I was pretty confident. And I'd always rationalise everything. So it'd be like, well, I race against these people all the time. The hurdle height hasn't changed. The distance haven't changed.
Wow.
So I just kind of
It's a great
rationalised
mindset, isn't it?
everything to say what I've practiced.
just sort of
and prepared.
compartmentalise it,
everything
yeah.
I've done. What changes? Nothing. Maybe just the country I'm running in. But everything else is exactly the same.
And then as you went on to break various world records, were you then always chasing to break the next record, or were you just, again, taking that same stance at the beginning of a race?
Yeah, no, same stance.
Really?
But never, ever approached a record as a record. So I kind of approached it as my best. So I would just always want to, like everybody else, my personal best just happened to be the world record.
Just happened to be.
Yeah. So you would want to go in everything and
Absolutely.
do your very best.
Yeah.
You would try to improve your very best, irrelevant of what it was. So that was the same attitude I had. Just because it's a world record, don't make a big deal of it. Because if you do, all of a sudden, it's something that you may not be able
So
to
it
reach.
makes it more unachievable.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you're still young.
Yeah.
You still have dreams and you still
Yeah.
have these aspirations. So what you don't want to do is cloud it with stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff could be that. You're thinking, well, all of a sudden you have a reflection like, I never thought I'd be the world record holder. Well, you are, so
Amazing.
suck it up.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, so suck it up.
What
Crack
a
on.
phenomenal piece of advice, though, to every inspiring, up-and-coming, not only just athletes, but if you've got a challenge coming up and you're climbing the mountain,
Whatever
just
it is,
don't
yeah.
put extra pressure on
Yeah.
you.
No.
Break it down. If you've done the training, if you've got the good coach,
Yeah.
get your mindset.
Yeah.
Because we always say as well, if your mind is strong, your body is going to follow.
It will follow. 100% it will follow in that sense. But, like you say, you've got to do it. You cannot separate either. So you've got to have a good mind and a good body.
Yeah.
You can't haul your body through just because you're super strong. You've got to have those, and most of us spend a lot of time doing the physical preparation and not so much the
Yeah.
mental preparation. But I always remind people, mental preparation is really important. Because if your mind is not in the right place, you can't even get out of bed
Yeah.
to do the physical activity.
Yeah, totally.
So remember, everything's in harmony.
I love this. Please take note, team.
Yes.
This is absolutely phenomenal. So back in the racing days, you also then became a game changer because people tried to copy your technique, being
Yes.
low over the hurdles, and you're duck to the lines.
Yes.
Were you getting other coaches come and watch you? Were you getting other international teams kind of, all right, how do we do that? What was it?
I certainly remember when I was running indoors specifically, because that when you're indoors,
Is it
you're quite
60
focused. Yeah, 60
metre
meters.
indoor?
But your warm up area is very much
Right.
controlled, right? So outdoors, you can literally be anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But indoors, you're in a hall, so people will see you whatever you're doing because you are locked in,
Yeah.
right? And I remember one time some German coaches coming up to my coach and saying to him, "Why doesn't he do any fast running before he races?" And my coach kind of literally just looked at him and went, "Well, he's just what he wants to do." Right? So,
Yes, Colin.
do you know what I mean? If I want to do fast runs, I'll do it. If I don't want to, I don't do it. It's fine. I'm going to run fast in a minute as long as I'm stretched.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Really fast. Can we just say he's going to
Yeah,
run really fast?
Yeah.
So I always kind of used to be quite basic with everything. Like, there's no mystery, guys. It's you, I'm me. How I prepare is my preparation
Yeah.
to do the best I can do. It's irrelevant to what you're doing because I wouldn't look at you and go, well, I need to do that because you're doing it just because you're champion. Well, maybe I just can't, I'm not capable of.
Yeah.
So I've got to do what's right for me for that particular moment, And then the same thing, they always just watch me because I was quite a stickler on warming down.
Right.
So I would have a good warm down
Music to our
process
ears.
as well. So they would always watch my warm down exercises. And I remember a Dutch coach coming up to me. So this is really super, it's international, right? Coming up to me and talking to me and saying to me, "I wish more athletes would watch you now. you've competed, you've won, and look how you've kind of now just, while they're all getting their bags and getting the coaches and going.
Yeah.
Again, you
you're
must be
looking after
very
yourself.
unusual in that.
Yeah,
in
so
that-
you are a
yeah.
game
Yeah.
changer. You
So-
need to take massive credit for
Yeah.
like the conditioning,
Yeah.
Yeah.
pre and post.
Yeah, and I think it's important. And again, it's all about self-preservation.
Yeah.
It was my career. I had to do the best I could do for my career.
Yeah.
And that's the way I felt it was.
And that's the
good
way
for me.
that's why your career has continued
Was so long.
to be
Yeah.
so successful for so
the
long.
time. Yeah.
So
Excited. But massive messages still again.
Yeah.
Like we do talk about the importance of recovery, the importance of rest, the importance of stretching
Yeah.
and looking after
And
our
self-care,
body.
yeah.
Because as much as we peak up there, we've got to try and maintain at that peak. And if we don't look after ourselves,
Absolutely.
sleep, food,
Yeah.
water, rehabbing afterwards.
It's
been
the
a waver.
basics of life. And, one of the things we forget, and, when you're performing at the highest level, you're lucky enough to have people really helping you on that journey and instructing you. So if you're quite naive and young and blah, blah, you get good instruction. But the key thing is after that, once you get the instruction, you get the knowledge, is then to implement it.
Yeah.
And you've got to implement it in your life because no nutritionist lives with you. No dietitian is going to live in the house with you 24/7. They don't know what training, they don't know how
Yeah.
you physically feel. So you've got to look after yourself. So the key factor, again, knowledge, implement it.
Oh, it's nuggets.
Nuggets of gold. Honestly, any athlete with you as their mentor is
Can you imagine?
absolutely blessed. This
They
you
don't
imagine?
feel the same way, trust me.
Right, well, get them on here. We'll talk to them, won't we?
I love athletics.
I-
Like,
I-
I literally.
Me too.
Oh, I'm obsessed with athletics, and I just think to have a mentor like you, who's not only been there, done that, but was a game changer at the time,
Yes,
is
that's the yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah.
To people coming through,
Amazing.
Which brings us on nicely to EA Sporting Champions.
Brilliant.
Thank you
Yes,
for being.
thank you for being one
the
of the-
ambassador,
Goodness
the pusher of it. So, should we just talk a little bit about what EA Sporting Champions is?
Yeah. And do you want me to say why I got involved?
Yes,
as well?
please.
Yeah.
So,
I think the most important story is why I got involved. And I really, when I say, so first of all, in the EA, I met up with the guys in the team, which were, as you all know, the team. I love the team anyway, right? But what was really fundamental for me is the passion of delivery of the program. Not from us as ambassadors or anything like that, but from the team, next layer of the team, and the next layer of the team,
Yeah.
and the next layer of the team.
Give me
That
goosebumps.
is the most important thing. So when I spoke to everybody along the way, the very beginnings, they had the same passion and drive. And I'm quite an old man now, right? So I have world experience on my shoulders, right? In that sense. So you can tell when people are talking. And
A load
when
of
people,
twaddle.
do you know what I mean? And you also know when people are being honest.
genuine,
You can see, you
yeah,
can
yeah,
listen
yeah,
to
you
them, you
can,
can hear,
yeah.
you can see. And what they're talking about, what concepts and what ideas and what's driving them and the reasons why they wanted to get involved were all good reasons. And then I could then take myself to be in the age of 15, 16, when I was up and coming and realising, I would have loved to have this opportunity
Yes,
to be on
yes.
a scheme like this,
Yes.
when I have access to not just great training facilities, but to stars of the day and the past that can mentor, give me knowledge and just help. So for me, I was like,
sign me up.
I'm in.
You're
So it was
there.
quite easy for me to get involved in that sense. And of course, now through the whole scheme within the community, we've had Olympic champions come through our scheme. It's just, and when you think about that in
It's
itself
amazing, isn't it?
is incredible.
I'm covered in goosebumps.
Are you?
I think it's absolutely.
Are you beside yourself?
phenomenal. Like, go on to the team.
It's so good, though, isn't it?
So, in order for the athletes to be put forward for the scheme, looked after by the scheme, they're already county level. They've already been kind of spotted that they're on that.
It's on the cusp,
Potential,
is
yeah.
the word you want to say. On
Yeah.
that cusp of that, yes, that tipping point. And what we want to try and do is give them that, just give that little leg up. You know, when someone's just trying to scale a wall.
Yeah.
And you can see they're just nearly there, but they may be just running out of motivation. They may be just losing a bit of inspiration, forgetting the reasons why they want to get involved in their sport. Because things may not just be getting right. And it could be something where they feel, I just need a leg up. but they don't know how to ask.
Right.
Someone applies for them, they get on, they get selected, and then all of a sudden, that is the turning
That's the
point.
yeah.
That is the turning point where they go, people do believe in me, I do have a chance, and that is important.
And then,
then
their mindset
then their
starts to go,
self-belief. Yeah.
right, here's my team,
exactly.
let me go. And is it open up to all sports?
It is. Which is even better.
Yeah. So we're thinking not just
we
so
don't-
exciting.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think sometimes people only think when you have kind of top ambassadors and mentors in particular sports, people just think, oh, well, maybe it's just for that sport then, But the answer is, look at our ambassadors.
Yeah.
And look at where they're from. They're from all walks of sports.
Yeah.
But there's one thing we all have in common is success. And not only is it success, is the fact that we want to help. And that, again, is really important.
It's
Yeah.
super important, isn't it?
Definitely. And you've got teenage boys. And I just think the pressure nowadays being a teenager, because everything's turned on.
Yeah.
There's always a TV, a screen,
Yeah.
something.
Totally.
There's no downtime. There's not even that space where we could not watch the TV, walk outside.
Yeah.
So to be able to now have a group of like-minded individuals that have gone, do you know what? This chill is important, or your work right now is really important.
But I mean, you've been speaking to people for a lot longer than I think you're letting on here about your journey, because I'm sure you remember in 1988 you spoke to my husband at his college.
Of course. I was,
Yeah.
Yes!
As a
Mr.
21-year-old. Yeah.
Mr. Laurie said he won't. I said he'll remember you, don't worry. And he, both of us are 54 now, and he this morning was speaking to me about how fondly he remembers having a conversation with you, how you were inspired, because he was really into athletics and football, and the conversation he had with you, and that's all those years ago.
Yeah.
So you've been inspiring people for longer than you're being very modest.
You are very modest.
Very modest.
No, what I am going to say, kind of to back up the statement, right? But not to, big myself up, because it's not about me. It's about all sports stars in that sense. I think once you've been successful, you've got to realise those first conversations you're having with people could potentially be life-changing.
Yes.
And they remember it. And if any sports star is kind of ignorant to that point, they need to look at their own career. I remember parts and points in my career when I was a 15-year-old lad and somebody saying to me, I'm not going to make it. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I remember looking at them straight in the eye and said nothing. I just looked. And as I walked away and I was like, really? Right? I'll be showing you. But I remember the conversation.
Whoever that was.
Yeah.
Can we look now?
No.
He's
Can
asked
we
me
do
to
the
coach
I told
his-
you
he's
so
asked me
dance?
to coach his
No
daughter.
way. No.
Yeah. And I smiled. I find it quite funny. But
You know who you are.
oh yeah, he does. And he also says that he never said it.
Oh, really?
But that's fine, because this is the problem, right? And I believe he believes he didn't say it.
Okay.
I believe it, right? But you cannot be flippant to 15, 14,
Yeah.
15,
Yeah.
16-year-olds
Yeah.
when you're a person of influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're flippant, that remains with them forever and ever.
Yeah.
Amen. And that's why it's really important. And that's why I say it's really important as a sporting star. You've got to, when you meet somebody, you've got to give them the energy like they're the best person, the
Yeah.
best friends
Yeah.
for that moment, because that will stick with them. And that's really
As
important.
it has with my husband. Honestly, it
important.
really, really has.
It's
And
important.
if you just think about also 1988, that was the Seoul Olympics.
Yeah.
See, geek. Yes, I am. And Team GB was like right down on
Yeah.
medal tables.
Yeah.
And now if you just think of the growth
Yes.
since then.
And the profile, how much it's increased as well. It's
And
amazing.
adding to that, don't forget that our scheme has helped that medal tally. So we can hold our heads up pretty high.
yes,
Yes, now.
yes.
Absolutely.
So back in November last year,
Yeah.
you had the Sporting Championships
We
Award.
did. I hosted them.
Well done, you.
I was not very good, but I was all right. Yeah, we did it.
It was amazing. And you're awarding champions that happened that year. They also got to spend time with you mentoring and with Macy. Lovely Mace.
Yeah, I was
there.
there the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just recently, yeah.
And then what's the plan for this next season, the next year that's coming on for the champions?
Well, of course, it's the Olympic year. That's where we always got to think about that. And that's really important for them all to really get, if they're not in a team, is to see how close they were to the team.
Right.
Los Angeles is not too far away. I mean, somebody talked, I'm giggling now because somebody said that it was 12 years ago, London 2012.
I know.
I was like, I'm
wow.
sorry? I'm sorry?
Yes, it's this one.
London, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So when you think how close games come around and how quickly they come around, I think the most important thing is for the youngsters to be inspired by this one if you're not in the team. Never be fearful of, I use the word failing, right? Because you've got to have that first attempt in learning in what you do and then come on. And also feel free to reapply. We know we're there to help you as well. We want to take you on your journey and be there for as long as you possibly can. And success breeds success. And, you know, the key thing is success will change as you go through your life. And how you judge the word success. And that's really important for you to appreciate that. But yeah, get on board still. Come talk to us. We're here to help.
And when they're on the scheme, is there specific mentoring sessions that you guys do with them? Like, how does it work physically? If I'm one of the athletes and I've
Just book the session. It's quite
really?
easy.
So you're that accessible to people?
Yes,
wow.
yes,
Can you
yes.
imagine that, Joe?
Yeah. And then it's all kind of organised for you, and it makes sure that the mentor, whoever you want to speak to, you may want to speak to Taylor, or Maisie, or whoever you want to speak to in that sense, you book, and then you get that opportunity to speak to them.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine having that?
It's great, isn't it? I mean, that's one of the things, seriously, that was one of the big selling points for me to get on board.
Is that one of the best bits for you as well?
Because I can remember being, having one of my iconic, I can imagine if I had one of my iconic heroes of the day was on heading up a scheme like this, and they said to me, do you know what, you can get hold of them if you want. I'd be like, sorry? He'd be like, yeah, and you can speak to them about whatever issue. Really? I wouldn't believe it.
Wow.
I wouldn't believe it. But I actually know it happened. So it's great.
And I just think about the medal tally as well that you guys, as the ambassadors, have won between you. We've got world record setters, gold medal winners, Olympic gold,
world record holders,
everything.
all sorts of things.
Yeah. On the scheme and as your ambassadors, you've got a nice array of people who've literally been through it. And you've got to have that complete. It's got to be 360, right? So you've got to have the success is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But most of the people, when they're talking to us, it's about dealing with failures.
Yeah.
And how do they deal? Because everybody can be a winner. Everybody knows what it's like to celebrate, right?
Yeah.
Have a party and do that. It's the bits behind that. It's like when it doesn't go so well and your expectations are shattered and you're losing motivation. Those are the topics really that they need to be talking to us about. And that's what majority of them do. And there's a list of athletes who have gone through it in different manners.
Oh, right.
And
okay.
That's important. Yeah.
Is it Jessica? Which sisters just had knee surgery?
Yeah.
So that must be a massive,
Yeah.
massive, like brain freeze as well,
Of
because you're
course.
peaking and you're topping, and then all of a sudden, bang, injury hits.
And one of the things to add into that is like sometimes, your mentors will go, and I'm one of them, right? So I'll go, what, don't worry. And it may seem so easy for us to say, oh, don't worry, because it's not your career. What do you mean, don't worry? But we have been through it. We know, right? And the advice you've got to do is take away the clouds, first of all, and see where you're going and what you can do.
Take away the cloud. I'm making a note of that.
Do you like that one?
That's really
Take
cute.
away the clouds, right? And just see where you're going and have that clarity because, trust me, the sun shines. When it's a grey day like this, take a plane, jump up, it's blue. It's blue. They will dissipate. It will dissipate. You'll be back.
What a coach. Can I sign up?
I know. I was like, what can we do? Let's sign up.
Well, I'm also going to throw out there as well how many more opportunities there are, and it is probably down to the 2012 effect that it just brought athletics
To
and
the forefront,
sport
didn't it? Yeah, totally. Yeah.
to everyone.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is great about EA is that we are everywhere, literally in the community, right? We're in the community. And I remind people that all sports stars start from the community.
Yeah.
They don't start from some
true, yeah.
great academy, right? And they're just there and then they end up on national teams. It doesn't work like that. They start in the ground, on the earth in that sense. And when they're rubbing shoulders with the everyday people who, when they're coming in here and they've seen them be successful, they go, well done.
Yeah.
That in itself, it's reciprocal on both sides. So the athlete will feel fantastic because people are appreciating performances, but also a punter will feel they're very much part of the journey just because they use the same facility. So there's that sense of, real community camaraderie that
talk
comes
about that
together.
a lot, don't we, with
it's important.
the community feel,
Yeah.
don't we?
Definitely. And you're absolutely spot on when you see an aspiring athlete training upstairs in the gym, you're like,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
And just that pat on the back from a 60-year-old regular gym
Exactly.
user
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
a teen
Yeah, no, exactly.
that wasn't necessarily, they might not meet, other than the fact that they both are here
They're both
to
walking
train.
on the same piece
Yeah.
of
And
floor.
so that
That's
to
it.
a younger person
It's
is
huge. It's huge.
massive.
It's huge. So we should never underplay that story at all, because it is really crucial one.
Goodness me.
on.
It's so exciting.
You know. Let's go back to you now.
Oh, okay.
And
I was doing so well.
Your training,
Uh-huh.
and because you came down to our club in Harpenden opening, and I had such a gorgeous conversation with you about what you like to do now.
Yeah.
Tell us about
Do you know, I think I'm really, I mean, I should really start with what I don't like to do, right? And that is...
Is it going to be an extended podcast?
Yeah, I think so. Right, let's just extend this. Right. No. I think one of the best things, especially now when I'm coaching and mentoring as well, I'm at tracks and stadiums all the time now. Right? So I got no excuse. Of course, when athletes are stretching and warming up, I stretch and warm up with them. Maybe it's a little bit the fact that I just want to show off. And show to them.
Still
look at
got
me.
it.
Yeah. How many press-ups can you do? I'll match you. How many sit-ups you can do? I can match you. How many...
/ you're actually saying
I
I'm
can
going to
match
beat
it.
you.
Yeah, kind of like this. A little bit. But in the same breath, you don't want to say to him, hang on a minute, like, you're trying to win a medal, I'm just sitting on the sofa, you should be a damn sight better than me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to have that. You got to
Yeah.
build in that kind of,
Yeah.
you know, just tone it down, CJ, just tone it down. So, yeah, and it's about them when they're in that environment. So I can kind of build a little bit of my own little workouts within that. I love still, and I say because I was always flexible from my event, I still love doing a lot of stretching. So yoga, Pilates is high up on the list for me.
Do you know, when I used to be, sorry to interrupt you, when we were streaming the live workouts during COVID and things, my little heart would leap when it would say Colin Jackson has joined, and I'd be like, or I'd get a little love heart and I'd be like, Colin Jackson came in.
No, but I absolutely love it because it's one of these exercises. Well, I should say this. It's one of these things where it's about 100% you. And you've got to focus on you when you're doing lots of exercise.
Yeah.
No, there's no competition.
No.
You know, my body can't move like yours or like yours or like yours. And actually, my body should move like yours or yours or yours because it's mine. So I've got to work my own.
Yeah.
So one of the key factors for me, and that's why I like those type of workouts more than anything
And
else.
yoga as well.
Yeah.
Mindset.
Yeah.
Big time. Big
That
time.
You're chill, you're reset.
Yeah.
The you time. It's important.
It's really important. And, you know, one of the things I said to people, courtesy of doing yoga, I mean, my sister's been doing yoga since she was 16, and it was prescribed to her by our GP back when she was 16 to
Wow.
relieve stress. So you can see how far
Wow,
forward thinking
come on.
our GP was back in that day, right? And so my sister just continued it in that sense. So she's like a rubber band, as you can imagine, right? Yeah. But has a perfect spine, perfect stance, you know, all the right things. And one of the things when I start again heavily into yoga, and I realized, and I wish I'd started a lot earlier, was breathing.
Right.
And learning to breathe, because it's something we take for granted. And once I started to learn to breathe properly, how it had a real genuine calming effect, a control effect. It put me in a mindset where I could do what I was supposed to do.
Right.
And after the first couple of lessons of learning to breathe, I always thought it should be in our curriculum.
Yes.
Seriously. It should be 10 minutes of breathing for young kids from when they're little all the way through. And I'm telling you, anxiety would cut down, stress levels would cut down, all those positive things. And if you don't do it, if you never tried it, you need to do it.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And you'll see the difference. Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, Michelle just mentioned it, but there's so many Michelle videos.
Yeah.
Yoga breathing. There's your 40
Yes,
minutes.
yeah, and I actually do a whole video just on breathing as well. There's
it's
one of
so
those on
important.
demand as
Yeah,
well.
So important. Yeah.
And it really is. And in such a busy society, when we're here, there, everywhere, when we want to train, if we don't do the rehab, if we don't have us time, if we don't fuel well,
Yep.
drink well,
Yep, totally.
get that mindset chilled, it just makes going again that much harder. So, as you've said to start off with, take the pressure out. Take those building blocks away. We are absolutely in control
Totally.
of how we're going to train,
Totally.
what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So
And
look
why?
after yourselves.
Look after yourself, because nobody else is. And I generally mean that. Remember, nobody else is. And if you're not going to look after yourself, don't rely on somebody else to look after yourself. So keep yourself in the most positive mind frame as you
nugget to
possibly
end
can.
with.
Yeah.
Absolute nugget.
We've run out of time as well.
Oh my
I'm getting
goodness.
the clackers
I
behind the
have
cameras.
to ask.
Oh.
Pick
Oh, yeah.
medals.
Oh, yeah.
Hopes. Who should we be watching out for?
Oh, yes.
Oh, we've got quite a good little team going on in
Yeah, we
athletics.
do.
I'm doing the world of athletics, really. So, yeah, we're pretty strong. Keely's looking good, Hodgkinson, in the 800 metres. She's always been the bridesmaid at the moment, and could this be the biggest time for her to be the bride in that sense, which is great. There's a young little sprinter guy by the name of Charlie Dobson, who's an amazing sprinter. Tall, young, enthusiastic. 200, 400. He's someone else that you need to look after. Yeah, so it's going to be, it could be an interesting year for our youngsters coming through. So those are just two names to look out for.
Great.
Exciting.
Watch this space.
So exciting.
Colin, thank you.
I could sit here and talk to you for hours. I haven't even talked to you about Strictly, which I'm just really upset about.
we'll do
but-
that off camera.
Off camera,
It's
okay, cool.
But team, as always, if there's any questions, definitely about EA Sporting
Yeah.
Championships, mind that, about athletic training,
Yep.
about the journey forward, please, please, please contact us. We are podcast at everyoneactive.com, and we will get them over to Colin.
Happily.
And he will answer away. But honestly, thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And team, we will see you very, very soon. Please rate us, leave us those reviews, and do definitely email in those questions.
Lovely to see you, Colin.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care, team. Bye.